What's going on, guys? My name is Christopher and welcome to It's Complicated. It is a show where I talk about and showcase wristwatches. So if you're a big fan of wristwatches like I am, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button and check out some episodes of the show. Today, I'm going to be showcasing a watch that I just picked up. It's definitely a bucket list watch, the Rolex Batman. Here we go. Bucket list alert, bucket list alert. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a bucket list alert. Today we're going to be checking out my new Rolex GMT Master 2, reference number 116710BLNR, also nicknamed the Batman. Now, the box this comes in is basically the exact same box that my Submariner date came in. This one does come with full papers. I have those front papers turned backwards here so you can't see, but it does come with the warranty booklet and the instruction manual, etc. Now, this is the 2017 model. This is almost the last year, if not the last year. I think it actually is the last year that the 116710BLNR was developed. And it's pretty cool that it comes with the green hang tag instead of the red one that this model would have come with in previous years. Let's get it out of here. And here is the watch. This Rolex 116710BLNR, also nicknamed the Batman, is now priced around $17,500. That's pretty wild for a watch that was just a little over $10,000 when it was released. Now it's worth closer to double that price. For those out there wondering, I did get rid of the two-tone Submariner to purchase this one. It's the one I always wanted, and I really thought that buying a brand new one from an authorized dealer would get me on some sort of list, so to speak, and it really did nothing. So I traded in the two-tone for this Batman as an exact even trade. At least I only paid retail for the two-tone sub, so that makes the purchase of this watch technically worth much less than $17,500. If you ask me, it's a big win. So now instead of having two Submariners, I have a Datejust, a Submariner date, and a GMT Master 2. A much better little collection there, if you're asking me. To have a look at the size here, you're talking 40 millimeter case size. The movement on this watch is an automatic. It's that Rolex 3285 automatic GMT movement. Let's have a look at the timekeeping on this one. The watch is keeping great time with just gaining 3 seconds a day. It's been on this machine for a while now, and it is a steady +3. The water resistance on the GMT Master 2 is 100 meters or 330 feet. So yeah, it's not a Submariner as far as water resistance goes, but I don't think many people are going to be going underwater more than 300 feet deep. Now, the case on this one is really nice. The lugs on this one are much thicker than the lugs on previous generation Rolex models. Here is a 16610T. And as you can tell, the lugs on the Batman are much thicker, which really works out for the new version of this one with the Jubilee bracelet that's called the Batgirl. It's nice that the Batman has thicker lugs, if you ask me. It's just a perfect nickname for the watch here. But as far as the lugs go, they look almost night and day looking on a video like this. But honestly, once you get it up close, you can't really notice the difference unless you're really looking for it. Now, the bezel on the Batman is a rotating bezel, but it rotates in both directions, and it rotates exactly on the hour. Now, what you're supposed to do with the second hour hand on the GMT is set it to GMT time. So GMT time is 4 hours ahead of my time. Now, once you're aware on what GMT time is, then you can use this bezel and flip it around if you're traveling, or if you're using an airliner, etc. And then you're going to know exactly what the different time zone is. And that's going to help you tell the time in a different time zone when you're flying, traveling, etc. Let's talk about the watch's crystal. This does have the Rolex Sapphire crystal, and it does have that inner engraved Rolex crown. Now, that crown is actually engraved in between the sapphire. It's actually inside that sapphire, I should say. Very cool. I'm not really going to be able to get it on the camera here. It's just a very tough thing to get, but it is nice that it does have that inner engraving. Let's talk about the crown. The watch does have that screw down crown, and of course it does have the Rolex logo on it as well. It has the 3 dots under that Rolex logo, which is basically showing you guys that this watch is made of stainless steel. The Rolex 904L stainless steel, to be exact. Case back is a standard Rolex case back. No glass window here, people. Now the dial on this watch is pretty rad looking. It's not as noisy as a Submariner because there's a lot less writing underneath those hands there. And that blue GMT hand is almost camouflage. It's so nice. Has the large hour markers on it, as all the new generation Rolex models have. It also does have a date feature. And when I say the large hour markers, have a look between the previous generation. Those hour markers on the new ones are enormous compared to the older generation. Let's have a look at the lume on this watch. It is very nice. It's the same lume material that brand new Rolexes are using right now. So it is very modern. It glows that nice blue glow. And the blue glow really does fit the Batman, doesn't it? Funny enough, the Submariner I was just showing next to the Batman has that green lume. So I'm just throwing that out there. Let's check out the bracelet on this watch. This is another part of this watch that absolutely pops, is this bracelet. The bracelet has the polished center links. I mean, all over, this watch really just does pop, doesn't it? But you throw in that half blue bezel, all right? You throw in the polished center links, the date feature, the blue GMT hand. I mean, this watch is an absolute masterpiece, period. The watch does come with the modern Rolex clasp. It does have the polished center part of it as well, which matches the rest of the bracelet. And man, it really does just make it pop like the rest of the bracelet does, in my opinion. Other than that, though, it is a standard modern Rolex clasp. There it is on my wrist, and overall this is my favorite watch in my Rolex collection right now. The Submariner is an extremely close second, and the Datejust is a bit more dressy. But right now this thing is the best one. It's the Batman. I was unsure about those lugs, as I mentioned, until I saw it up close next to the older generation, and the lugs are just fine. I think the lugs actually make this one pop just as the thinner lugs make the other ones pop. It's just in a little bit of a standard fashion here. And being the Batman instead of the Batgirl, having those thicker lugs really makes sense. Having that different bracelet makes sense. If they re-release this, I don't know what they're going to call it, maybe the new Batman something. But man, this watch is just a 10 out of 10 for me. It's a true modern masterpiece. And I'm very fortunate to have been able to add this one to the collection, have the money, have the resources to buy this Rolex GMT Master 2 Batman. And there it is. That was the Batman. Definitely bucket list material. Like I said, it's just a nice collection for me to have. It's all stainless. You got Datejust, Submariner date, and Batman. Pretty awesome three-piece Rolex collection. Maybe one day I'll try to get one of those Daytonas. But you know, the Daytona doesn't have a date function on it, and I know it's highly collectible, but without a date, I'm always looking at these things for the date. So we'll see. Maybe one day. Right now, I don't have the money to buy one of those anyway, unless I'm paying retail, and you guys know that that's probably not going to happen, especially with the Rolex market being as hot as it is right now. And that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like this video for me, and I'll see you next time on another episode of It's Complicated.